Welcome to the Further North podcast, your weekly dose of the North Melbourne Footy Club. My name is Josh and this is a fan-run podcast doing match previews, reviews and everything North. Let's get it started.
Look at to come in and go bang! Nathan Thompson gets the fist pumping and goes Pop Sutherland. We're heading to the finals.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Further North. I'm going to start this one off letting you guys know I've been incredibly sick. So this one's going to be a little bit shorter. My voice might break down and get a bit gravelly. I apologize in advance for it, but the devil has decided to relocate to inside of my body, unconsensually, of course. And it's been about a week of me being, absolutely cooked. So let's get through this one. Luckily for me, the only thing sicker than me was North Melbourne's performance down in Adelaide. So I guess we're going to jump into it, and we have to talk about it. And to be honest with you guys, we're going to talk about a couple of different things today because I don't really want to talk about the game. We'll touch on it, and I'm just kind of done and kind of over, the honourable loss thing. And this wasn't that, but, we've had such ups and downs, and this is legitimately me talking off the top of my head here. I got no idea what I'm saying, but I just didn't want to watch the rest of that game. I didn't want to watch that second half. I did miss the start of it because I was at work and came home, turned it on, sort of before half time, and I was like, okay, we're sort of hanging around. And then that third quarter started, and they just look like they don't care. And I know they do, and I'm not suggesting that they don't care because that's ridiculous. I know we like to say it as fans, we get emotional, and they do care, but we just got absolutely destroyed, and it feels like improvement came from like the Swans and the Pies and the Bombers, and we played all right a few weeks after that too. The GWS one was very disappointing, but the Bulldogs one we competed. But I think I'm at the point now where an honourable loss isn't good enough anymore. And this seems to divide the fan base where, even just talking to people at the barbershop and everything, it seems to be that a lot of people don't mind the honourable loss and go, yeah, we're building for the future. And I agree, of course. Yeah, we absolutely are building for the future. But I don't know. Am I getting too impatient thinking that an honourable loss, which once again wasn't what happened on Saturday, but I'm just kind of over it. The season as a whole has been a lot of ups and downs. Like the first couple of weeks were wins, and that was great, but we didn't play very well. We grinded those ones out. We fell straight back into David Noble form. And then George Wardlaw came in the team, and we had this spark and this energy, and we all thought we were going to be okay. And now, I know it was after the bye, and I know it's away to Adelaide, who are a lot better than I think people give them credit for. But we're back. It feels like we're back to uninspired performances. It's not improving next week against the Cats. We're going to get absolutely run off the park. And I know the Cats aren't the Cats of old, but come on, guys. Like, we know what's going to happen. And that's okay because we're not going to be competing with that team. But the one thing I think that really got to me this week was, what are we at? What round are we at? I'm going to look at what round we're at because we won 2 games in a row at the start of the season, and then it's just been loss. And I think it's getting to my head, guys. It's getting to my head. We've lost, 4 to 13 in a row. It doesn't feel like much of an improvement on last year. And I know this is a life rant right now. I'm venting to you guys. Thank you very much. You don't have a choice. I mean, you can turn it off. Please don't, but you know what I mean. I don't know. Do you guys feel that way too? Am I being too emotional about it, or am I expecting this process of us being better to be done too quickly? And I don't want us to be winning every game right now, but I just don't think we can have performances like that after what we've watched for the last 3 or 4 seasons. So I guess that's where my head's at. Anyway, we're going to talk about Tristan Xerri, your guys' favourite player, and I'm going to tell you my thoughts on Tristan Xerri. We're going to do a lot of fan questions in this one because, like I said, my voice isn't the best. A little bit sick, so I'm going to let you guys take over this one. And yeah, look, Sean Atley Club champ, of course. We'll talk about the team lineup. I don't really have many positives and negatives for this one. I was so drained, and my sickness drained me, and North Melbourne drained me of my energy this week. So, look, let's get through this one together. I'm struggling, and North Melbourne did not help me this week. So we're going to talk about Xerri, Cooper Harvey, and those guys maybe after we talk about a little bit about the game, I guess, and then your questions. And then we'll do Sean Atley Club champ and all that stuff after. So the team lineup, we had LDU and Darcy Tucker back in, Spicer, Powell, and Hugh Greenwood out. Don't mind the ins, but I mean, did Tom Powell not play? I didn't actually know that. Tom Powell being out, I guess it was fine. He sort of doesn't really have a role, and I think I'd pick Darcy Tucker over Tom Powell at this stage. I think Tom Powell's obviously got maybe more potential, but he just doesn't get into that midfield, especially with LDU back. Hugh Greenwood baffled me, unless there was some sort of injury concern. I know he was the sub, which we will talk about as well, but Hugh Greenwood doesn't deserve to be dropped. I'm not sure what, they're thinking with dropping him. I mean, I like Liam Shields, but I would play Hugh Greenwood over Liam Shields every day, just looking at the lineup here. A lot of other players, maybe not, but, just as a thought, Hugh Greenwood being dropped, I don't know. Didn't like it, but LDU did come back, so I guess not really like for like, but we do need to make room. As for how the game and everything played out, the first half was competitive enough. Obviously let it slip towards the end of the first half, and then as soon as that third quarter started, it was just we couldn't get the ball out of our defensive 50. We had no hope, and it was tough to watch. It really, really was. It was boring, uninspired, and they really didn't look like getting it out of that 50 unless we let them score a goal. So we're going to do some questions on the game because my brain is fried of this game. I didn't write many positives and negatives, and I just kind of really wrote negatives. And, maybe you guys can help me bring a little bit more positivity to this episode. So we're going to go into some Instagram comments here. We've got Bailey Tyson _. Also, there was a lot of questions here about the same thing. So thank you to everyone who wrote in once again. But I would love to read all of them. There's too many now, which is beautiful because, the show's getting more popular. But when all you guys ask me about Luke McDonald, I can't read all of them out. So anyway, this one's not about Luke McDonald, but you know what I mean. So thank you again, guys. And once again, apologies for my blocked up voice and maybe lack of demeanor. I'm trying to bring it as much as I can. Bailey Tyson _. I don't understand why everyone is happy for Mackay to go. We'll leave a massive hole. And he did write another part of the comment, but that is the part we'll focus on. I agree with you, to be honest. I think everyone in our backline at the moment is a bit of a scapegoat. I think people are trying to protect themselves because I think we all know Mackay's gone. Why wouldn't he be, to be honest, if I had to stand in the backline for this team for that long? People are happy for Mackay to go because they're protecting themselves and they think that getting, draft compensation is going to fix our problems. It's not true. I mean, I really want Mackay to stay. I don't think he's a problem in the backline at all. The backline maybe system is a problem. I don't think individually there's many people that, are the problem. We'll get into a couple, but Mackay is very important. And when he goes, there's going to be a massive, massive, massive hole in this backline, especially if some other players that we'll talk about in a minute remain in that team and move into his number one key defender role. So I think it's a way of people to try and protect themselves and be like, we don't need him anyway, he's not actually that good. We'll get a top 10 pick and all that sort of stuff. And reality is he'll go, we won't have appropriate players to fill into those positions. And what are we going to do? Draft a forward or a midfielder with the pick because that's what's coming out of this draft and we won't have a defender? I don't know. I don't want Mackay to go and I think it's very troubling that he's probably gone. We've got Black Licorice Poker. Oh, that's a cool name. Was Will Phillips possessed by Aaron Hall? I don't think he kicked to one teammate. Yes, the parts of the game I could watch, he looked like he had a bad day. Will Phillips has had a decent season. I like the player he's becoming, so no gripe with him and not droppable or anything like that. Just a shocker game because, he didn't look like he was hitting any targets. Paul Wilfill, you've earned some credit in the bank with us fans, my friends, so stick at it. I'm sure you'll come back better. And, just an absolute shock. I had Vaseline on his boots. Maybe he put Zeebel's boots on before the game. Reese.Delaney87. Zerha to reinvent himself as a hard-nosed halfback flanker. Sheasel up forward, Goda for core. Let's dissect that. Zerha to reinvent himself as a hard-nosed halfback flanker. That I would hate Cam Zerha to be anywhere near our defence. Nothing would terrify me more. Yes, he would crash a pack and the ball would never, be clunked by the opposition. But I don't think foot skills are Zerha's, main forte. So let's leave him away from that defence. He was great in the forward line against the Dogs and he can be a match winner. So, Reese, look, I love your coaching hat, mate. You've pulled it on, but let's keep you down the resis just for now and maybe we'll try again next year. As for She's up forward, I don't mind it now that LDU's back and there's more in the midfield. I guess it is getting the ball off half back, which seems to be what Miller Bergman was there to do, but doesn't seem to be able to be doing recently, even though he's had a decent season all up, but his last few games have not been good. I kind of think we need She's off half back as much as I think long term, let's bring him forward. But if you guys have a better idea of who have to put off half back for some composure, why wouldn't you think the 18-year-old child? I agree with She's up forward, but I don't think we can afford that. Go to for core. Anybody for core. Anybody. I've been on this train for 2 years now. All last year, I was saying this. I didn't have a podcast then, but I've never seen Aiden Core do anything great. And look, once again, I don't want to be the guy who's going to bash players a lot, but I'm going to give my honest thoughts about it too. So sorry if any North employees are listening. I love you guys. I love the team. I'm always here. But Aiden Core, I just can't believe the guy's getting a game. So literally anybody. Bring in Phoenix Spicer again for Aiden Core. It doesn't bother me. Bring in Kane Turner. It doesn't bother me. Let's go to Bixie. The rescue cat. Oh my word. My bad, Bixie the rescue cat. That bamboozled my sick brain. But I'm here now and I'm here for your name. I love you. That's too soon. We really need a harder edge in our back line. Best place for Charlie Comben. It's an interesting question. Charlie Comben, like I've said before, I love Chom, and I did talk about putting him as that wing role, that Mason Wood wing role, when he comes back, because I think Coleman Jones offers something that he doesn't. Coleman Jones has been better in the forward line. I know he maybe hasn't kicked goals the last couple of weeks, but he brings a skill set that Charlie Comben doesn't have, which I think is more important to our forward line. But I want to see Comben back in this team. I absolutely think let's try him down back. We may as well. We've got nothing else to lose this season. And if it doesn't work, we move him back there. But a Comben sort of defending like over core or something like that in that back line sounds brilliant to me. Majak was a forward. We threw him back and I think it was like 2015 or something, like 2016 maybe, whatever that year was that he just dominated and he marked everything. And what a brilliant season he had just before his accident. So, yeah, let's throw him down there. I'm all for it at this point. Our back line is a mess. So, yeah, the rescue cat here is a bloody smart rescue cat, I would say. And maybe Bixie, the rescue cat, can rescue our team as well. Yeah, let's chuck him down back and just see, what more do we have to lose, to be honest? He's agile, he's quick, he's athletic. He's not just going to be irrelevant when the ball hits the ground, so why not? Amar 16. Should Simpkin be made sole captain next year? I find having dual captains awkward. Yes, I absolutely agree. Obviously within the four walls of North Melbourne, if the boys are happy to have Elmac as their captain, I'm happy for them. But I'm a little bit traditional in the way of I think one guy needs to lead this team and be the face, and it's Jai. Jai's a great captain. I like what he's done this season. He's had a couple of little slip-ups, but look, he's also 24 years old. But committing to the club, re-signing. Luke McDonald, I don't mind if he's in the leadership group, and I love the stuff that I hear that he does around the club for everybody. He's a warrior of the club, but I think Simpkin needs to be the sole captain. Yes, I would do that. I don't know. I just like one guy being the face of the club. That's the North Melbourne captain, And I think Simpkin's performances back up his leadership a little bit more than maybe Lukey Mack is doing right now. Bryden_Isles. Hello, sir. The defence has next to zero presence. Scott, Sheasel and Wardlaw gave 150% all day. Yeah, pretty typical of those three, by now. Our backline is cooked, isn't it? And I don't even mind the names on paper in our backline. I like Mackay and Logue. I know Logue didn't have the greatest game, but if he can pull his head in a little bit and just learn his role a little bit more, I think he can be a great defender. Bergman has been good this season, but his last few games, he's all over the place. Sort of like Zeeble as well. Like Zeeble's had a great season. I mean, 2 months ago, we were saying Jack Zeeble was probably our best and fairest, or him or Sheasel. But all of a sudden, it's just not working, and I wonder what has changed in the back line to have this response, because the back line was woeful up until we played the Swans, and then all of a sudden it was kind of working, and we're not giving up those transition goals as much, or we're not. By that I mean those ones where Mackay or someone drops like 15 metres off their player, and Joe Danaher marks like 10 times in the goal square by himself, and he's like, well, that was easy. We sort of stopped that, and yeah, it sort of is coming back. So I don't know what's going on with our defence. I don't know how to fix it. McDonald obviously had a shocker of a game and clearly isn't the guy that needs to be matched up on a small forward, but we don't really have anyone else as well, to be honest. So the defence has no presence, that's for sure, unless Mackay's throwing his weight around a little bit. I think Griffin Logue can bring presence. He has done. He loves to intercept mark and crashes a pack, but his good is great and his bad is bad. So hopefully consistency comes with that. But also getting Clarkson back, and I think hopefully another pre-season means they can tighten all that sort of stuff up. We need consistency with everything in this team, and coaching is that. So I think that is something that will come with time. Dave.I.M. I was at the game. Our backline just looks too slow. Quick inside 50s killers. Should try Goda and Archer there. I agree with Goda and Archer. Yes, for sure. I think we need to try Jacko as the small defender. I think Goda needs to be that guy running off half back, and maybe we can push a Sheasel forward. I do think maybe we put McDonald back in the twos for a little bit. It doesn't feel great, but I don't know. I don't think we have any other choice unless, we're just that shallow with depth. So, let's just give it all a go. Put Archer there, give McDonald a week off. I know he just had the bye, but, he's coming up against the Cats next week, and Gary Rowan is tearing people apart for fun. So, yeah. I don't know. I'd love to redeploy Luke McDonald, maybe like a winger or something like that. Maybe try him there as well. He could progress the ball into the forward line a little bit, but I don't really back his kicking. I don't think he's like your classic Clarkson left footer who's going to hit someone on the chest from 50 metres away. You know what I mean? He's just sort of get the ball out and boot it. Like if he played in the 70s, he'd probably be a Brownlow medalist. So anyway, they are very slow. I don't know why a lot of our defenders as well are so far off their men. It's very, very strange. Once again, I don't want to just rant about the same thing. I just don't know why they do it. It's like the first thing you learn in footy. Man up. And I understand zones and things exist. I get that. But I don't know. It's baffling. I'm trying not to rant too much, guys, as well. Once again, I apologize. I'm getting a bit blocked up. So if I sound a bit nasally, like a 2000s pop punk band, I apologize, but also not sorry because those were the days, Arberk 8. You already have another one? I don't know. I can't remember. Who cares? Hanging out for a quarter and a half isn't progress. Effort just isn't there. Yep, I agree. And I think that's the way to sum up this game. We're over the Valent, three-quarter performances where I think everyone's sort of getting over honourable losses and that sort of stuff now. It's time to put 4 quarters together. So, and like I said, I just don't think it's happening next week against the Cats. But then we do have a bit of a run where I think it's time to show what we've learned. It's time to lock in and let's get a couple of wins by the end of the season. We've got the Hawks. We've got West Coast. Come on. We have to. Riley _Masterson _14. Does Zerha need to make way to give someone like Cooper Harvey a run of game? No, we can't afford to take Zerha out of this team. He's too much of an X factor, and we want to keep him here long term. If we start dropping him, I don't think his form warrants that. And even if he has a down game, he might come back and kick 6. He's probably going to win us our next match, to be honest. So I don't think Zerha. Who else would I maybe take out to bring Cooper Harvey in? Let's have a look who's in this team. I don't really know, to be honest. I mean, I guess maybe you could throw a McDonald in the twos, put Sheasel back in the half back line and then shuffle a few things around. He gets over Phoenix Spicer, that's for sure. Gets over your Flynn Perez's. I know he's a defender, but just spots in this team alone. They'll find a place for him if he's worthy of it. But I'd definitely be bringing Greenwood back in next week. And bring Cooper Harvey and Jackson Archer in. Maybe McDonald a spell. Maybe Liam Shields a spell as well. And I guess the sub can be somebody else. I haven't really thought about it. I'll think about it more for the preview podcast. All right, let's go over to Facebook for some questions. Dale Kerwood. McDonald is possibly the worst player in our team based on current football ability versus his potential to improve. He may be a great clubman, but doesn't deserve to be a co-captain on football ability. Discuss. Harsh. Not untrue, but harsh. I don't think McDonald is that bad. I think he's sort of the scapegoat at the moment. When I say he's not bad, I don't think he's a bad footballer. He's having an awful patch and playing on some very good small forwards who are absolutely towering him up. Has he ever been like a small lockdown defender? No, he hasn't. He's always sort of been that guy off half back. But he hasn't been able to play that role because we've got no one else to go down there. So I think he's a bit of a victim of that. Yes, he should absolutely be doing better. And as a captain, you can't really put in those performances, but I just think he's having to do something that he doesn't usually do, which I'll let the coach decide what goes on there. Graham King, what can we do about our second half fade outs? It can't be fitness at this stage of the season. It's experience and coaching. For me, anyway, I think these young guys, once they start to get pulled away on score-wise, their heads drop. I think the older guys sort of do as well because they're so used to it by now as well. You've got to change club culture, and we've done a lot for club culture. I do believe people are happy to be there and the staff and the players are happy. But as for on the field, those heads drop once it starts to get out of hand. So that stuff doesn't come easy. That's going to be the hardest thing to change about the club. But Clarkson coming back and being there and not having distractions is going to help that. And just the players getting more experience. Alexander McNair. I know we all love Goldie, but he has been pretty handily outplayed the last month or so. Do you think it's worth giving a week in the twos for a confidence boost? And we do have another one here from Jesse Stevenson. Does Goldie get a contract for next year, primarily being in the twos? As for the contract, yes, 100% Goldstein gets a contract for next season. He's had a great year. Last few weeks, yep, he does look a bit old and a bit slow, but he's had a brilliant season. I guess this can go into our Tristan Jerry comment as well, or discussion we'll have after these comments. For Alexander's, I think maybe Goldie does have a week in the twos. I think so. I think Geelong's a bit of a free hit. I just don't think we're winning this game at all. I don't want to be that guy, but I also want to be honest, and they're going to absolutely tear us apart. So let's bring Jerry in next week. He's had a brilliant performance in the twos. And good on him as well. And I'm glad he's back from his ankle now. And his second game back was a brilliant one. I reckon let's bring Jerry in and let's give Goldie just a rest, and then they can fight it out for the rest of the year. We'll have more Jerry discussion and my thoughts on Tristan Jerry after this, because I know that's been me and you great listeners. Our only beef has been the Tristan Jerry comments. So we'll get there. Glenn Lavender, we've had a block of 5 to 6 weeks of good competitive footy for the majority of games. The bye changes momentum. I'd expect a steadier performance next week as the players build back into rhythm. I don't disagree with that. I think Geelong in Geelong is just the worst game we could have possibly got. So I don't think next week's going to be any better than the Adelaide game. I really, really don't. But it's the week after that we need to start getting ready for. And if we play, if we try new things in this Cats game to see what we can execute in the following month of football and we lose by 100, fine. Let's use the Cats game as a way to get ready for some games we can realistically win. So, yeah, I agree with you, but maybe not for Geelong. Corey Vinci. I wonder if Clark coming back into this temporary game analysis role for a little bit will help with our game plan, and if we will see that translate onto the field before the season ends. Yes, so Clarkson's going to come back and, slowly transition back into the team. Clarkson coming back is going to do nothing but be positive. You know what I mean? We know how smart of a football mind he is. We have made improvements since he left. He needs to be that guidance and that, educate these kids, please, because we've done great. Rats has done great, but we've hit a wall now. So we need Clarkson to come back in and step this thing up a little bit. I do think Clarkson coming back will help us on the field. He's just got the eye. He knows where we need to be. The plan he was trying to implement sort of clicked a little bit while he was away. It's time to take another step, and I think he helps with that. Sorry, guys, I'm getting a bit blocked up. James Duke, turnovers killed us. Core to never pull on our colours again. TT was immense, and it was great to see LDU out there. A lot in this. Yes, my opinions on Core. I'm glad everyone else can see it now. Once again, 2 years on this bandwagon of I'm not sure why we got Aiden Core, and please, can we not play him? Taron Thomas has been brilliant, and yes, it was great to see LDU back, and he was solid at his first game. Get the run into those legs, Lukey D, please. Ready to destroy the Hawks and the Eagles. Mordecai Rigby, is Miller Bergman a paddle pop lion? Yes, I can confirm he's the paddle pop lion. I swabbed some of his DNA when I was at the last game. I've run the tests in the lab. The algorithm's completed. Can confirm genetically he's related to the paddle pop lion. Is Ben Mackay a hologram? No, but his brother's kicking feet are at Carlton, because every time he swings that foot at the ball, nothing happens. So I would say Ben Mackay's hands are definitely not a hologram if his body is, and Harry Mackay's feet are holograms, but his body's not. So big issues in the Mackay household with what part of your body is a hologram. Hopefully they sort that out. Daniel Pell, a tale of two halves. First 2 quarters, we were competitive, hard of the ball, and relentless. The second half, we were just walked over. We had no fight. So disappointing. Sheasel, Wardlaw, Larkey and Thomas were good. LD not bad for the amount of time out of the game. Let's hope for a better effort against the Cats next week. Yeah, that sort of sums it up in the most positive way you possibly can. I hope for a better effort against the Cats next week, but I'm not too optimistic about that, as you guys can already tell. Story of our lives, though, tale of two halves. Which half it is, we never know, which I guess is the exciting bit about going to see a North Melbourne game. Which half will they perform and which half will they not? But Clarkson, please fix this. And Michael, oh, that's Polish. That looks Polish to me. Kroksuk? Michael, Mr. K, Special K. The time has come to bring Archer into the backline. I absolutely agree, my friend. For some nasty, and Harvey for the goal sneak up forward. We badly need to get wins against Hawthorn and West Coast. Maybe an unexpected win somewhere. To show improvement on 2022 win-loss record. It kind of feels like Melbourne 10 years ago when they accepted a losing culture prior to Paul Roos taking over. We can't tolerate long losing streaks anymore and need to snap it. P.S. I hope Larkey kicks more goals than Oscar Allen. Thank you, Michael. Larkey, my man, will get it done. Don't you worry about that. And I will share the celebratory lunch with you all. Yes, I agree. Archer needs to come in and Harvey needs to come in. We need something to add into this team after that performance. And this was another thing I guess I talked about on the mid-season review podcast, which was wins are important. And once again, something that is sort of maybe my opinion feels to have differed to most of the fan base, or the fan base that follow this page anyway. I think wins are absolutely important. If we finish this season with 2 wins again, that's demoralizing. If we get 4 wins, 4 to 5, if we can beat Hawthorn, beat West Coast and get one of those random ones like Richmond last year, that honestly could be the difference between Mackay signing and not. So I think it is really, really important that we at least get 2. One other win is okay, but it doesn't make me feel like it's a successful season. 2 wins for me is the benchmark for the rest of the season. So that's the personal goal I'm setting, and I think we absolutely need to hit that. That's all the questions. So hopefully that covered a lot of big things about the game. Once again, sorry for no positives and negatives. That'll all be back. I just need to be a little bit healthier. But thank you for listening through that. So Sean Atley Club Champ, Sheasel 3, Taryn gets 2, and Larkey gets 1. Sheasel and Larkey are just such staples and such constants in this team. They always get it done. And I think Taron Thomas has been great since he's come back. He just gives us an energy and a spark we didn't have before. So hopefully all goes well with him and he can just hold down a spot in this team and help us improve, because we need players like that. The Sean Atley Club Champ's getting close to the top, guys. Shees was ahead by 5 at top. 20 votes now. Larky's on 15. But Wardlaw's in the mix. LDU's in the mix. Bailey Scott's in the mix. It's all happening down at the Sean Atley Club Champ. Let's do a quick review. I don't know if I read this review. It was on the 20th of June. So if I have read this one, sorry for reading it twice, but it's a great review. And I don't think I've read it. It's great pod with a purpose. 5 stars from Michael_NMFC. Love this pod. Well presented, funny, and insightful. Thank you so much. The best episodes have a guest appearance, but Josh can also create really engaging episodes by himself. Hopefully even today when I'm deathly sick. But thank you very much. Being a North supporter has been far more enjoyable since the creation of this podcast and the work from the boys at Closer to a Flag. 5 stars, go Roos. That means a lot, Michael. Honestly, it does. Yeah, that's something that I really wanted to do, I guess, in the times that we are down in the dumps as a club a little bit. And I know the Closer to a Flag guys are all about, bringing positivity and a bit of fun while we are waiting to win our next premiership. So that means a lot. Thank you very much. What we're going to talk about now, just a little bit on Jerry and Cooper Harvey's performances in the VFL. I just want to get my thoughts on Jerry out there again and just want to make sure everyone understands exactly where I stand on Tristan Xerri. Now, I know I've said I don't fully see it with Xerri, and the times he has been in the team, I just don't think he's been that great. That doesn't mean that I don't want him to be a great ruckman for the North Melbourne Football Club, and I think some people may have misunderstood that. Like many messages defending Tristan Xerri, and I appreciate everyone messaging, and I did talk to a few of you, and we all found a middle neutral ground of love for North Melbourne, but I just haven't really seen it with Xerri. But if he can do in the AFL what he just did on the weekend, I'm excited for Tristan Xerri. But that's the thing. I don't think I've seen a display that he's had at AFL level for me to go, wow, this guy could be a great ruckman. What I just saw on the weekend from him was fantastic, and I am excited for him to come into the team and hopefully do that. He's big, he brings a presence, he's a physical player, but those big physical ruckmen aren't as needed these days in the AFL, and people can disagree with that if they want, but it's just the truth. Like, the best ruckmen in the game are ones that are agile and quick and can kick and can handball, can get up and down the ground and run all day. And that's the sort of ruckman I think we need going forward. If Xerri can do that, fantastic. I'm excited for him. So I do hope Xerri gets a game next week and maybe Goldie does have a spell. And I hope he comes in, dominates the ruck, can push forward, can take those marks down in the back line. I'm waiting for it, and I'm excited for it. I just really hope it comes. And yeah, maybe haven't seen it quite yet, but I do hope for it. And that's where we all do have the same opinion on Xerri. So back off. Leave me alone about Tristan Xerri. I believe what I say, and if I'm wrong, you can all laugh at me, and I'll be happy because that means he's good. So we all win. We're all friends. I think it's about time for Cooper Harvey to get a run as well. He's kicking, he's kicked a couple of bags of 4, a couple of bags of 5. I think our forward line's working pretty well at the moment in the ones. Our forward line and midfield are decent enough. I think our midfield's really good. I think our forward line's doing enough just. But let's put him in there and see what he does. I think getting a Harvey on the field is going to lift us as well. I think he's probably earned his chance, and by the looks of you can sort of tell, can't you, by the social media posts. He's leaning towards a debut very soon. I think Jackson Archer as well, maybe not standing out in the VFL as much, but we saw what he's been able to bring on an AFL field, and with McDonald struggling, I would love to see Jackson Archer get a chance. Will all those guys come in? I don't think Jackson Archer will come in, but if it was up to me, which it absolutely is not, I would like to see Jackson Archer get a run and play that role. Like, stick him on Gary Rowan for the day and see what he can do. Is it Stengel? They all look the same down Geelong. They're all blonde with bloody headbands on. Yeah, you can never tell. Man buns all over the joint. So yeah, look, that was just a little quick thing about wanting to talk about Big X and Cooper and Jacko and that sort of stuff as well. So, look, I do hope they all come in and do well and get a run, because that side was flat, and I do think maybe Goldie needs a spell in the twos. So yeah, poor Goldie. We love him, but maybe going towards like a Cunnington thing. I think I want Goldie to play next year though. Let's not get that twisted. Let's do a quick round review and then we'll end, guys, because my voice is getting clogged. thank you once again for listening through this podcast. I might not be at my lively best. This might not be the most listenable thing you've ever listened to, but I've got to get it out anyways, and I appreciate you guys for sticking around. My voice, my bad. Brisbane destroyed Richmond. That was sort of always going to happen. I think Brisbane, I've said this before, I think Brisbane are a little bit underrated. I know that people like to think they can't win in Melbourne, but they did come here last year and beat the D's in Melbourne, so in the finals. So they can do it. Richmond, their defence was awful. 81-point thrashing. The draw, the Swans and the Cats. What a disgusting game of football. Not as bad as Saints North, but this one was also a bit gross. Just obviously better players were on the field. The Cats will be mad now. I'm sure Jeremy Cameron comes straight back in against North Melbourne next week and kicks 10 on us. So that's going to be great. Western Bulldogs and Fremantle. Yeah, who knows what is going on over at Freo. One week they're really good, the next they're really bad. The Doggies are sort of slowly getting some form as well, but these are the two of those teams in that middle pack that could make the finals but could also miss it. The Pies getting the job done. That was always going to happen. And, the Bombers nearly beating Port Adelaide. That was wild. I hate Port Adelaide. I hate them. I hate them so much. And I hate that they won that game after the siren. I was excited to see them lose. But a great game for the neutral, that's for sure. And Collingwood and Port Adelaide, is that what I was going to say? Collingwood and Port Adelaide's game in a few weeks is going to be very, very exciting. Carlton and Hawthorn. The Carlton fans are a strange bunch of people, aren't they? I had Carlton fans posting "we back" when in the second quarter of this game. I can't believe they do it. They write their own scripts, don't they? Like, what a strange bunch of fans. But look, I mean, good. You beat an awful team, and that's basically the grand final. GWS beating Melbourne. Once again, Melbourne, I just don't get it. Are you good? Are you bad? I don't know. I guess it depends on the day. I guess, the D's are probably out of grand final contention for me unless they really start to, comprehensively beat good teams and go on a run leading into the finals. But, I mean, Collingwood and Port look easily the best. I think the Lions on the day could beat anybody. Other than that, I just don't think anyone else really has a shot this year. And Eagles and the Saints, man, the Eagles were up until the fourth quarter of this game, and I've never been so terrified in my life. I can believe the Eagles let it slip, and I think Eagles fans come away being happy with that one, especially after the week before. But us North fans, I don't know. Imagine if the Eagles go ahead of us, and that is legitimately a possibility this season. Let's not pretend we're miles ahead of West Coast. I know last week's performance was one for the history books from West Coast, but I don't know. That West Coast North game in a few weeks is going to be the most nerve-wracking game I'll ever watch because I'm not confident. Good on the West Coast for putting in a shift and at least bringing a response from last week. I think that's good to say. All right, let's leave it there. I need to go blow my nose. I've already said thank you for listening through this crap. My voice, that being. Further North Podcast on Facebook, Further North Pod on Instagram. Thank you to everyone who wrote in like you do every week with your questions. Keep doing it. I'll get to your questions eventually. I like asking you guys questions after the game, or to ask me a question, sorry. I think it's just better content and gives me something to chat about. Maybe when we get guests on, I'll just get your statements and thoughts, and when it's just me, I'll get you guys to write me some questions. So it's like we're sort of having a chat. So thank you again. I'm excited for my voice to improve and bring you guys better content. But hey, I'm sticking it out. I'm battling it out in the trenches right now. This is podcasting well. Thank you guys. Go North. That game was yuck. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to the Further North Podcast. We'll be back next week with more great North chat. See you then, Bruce fans.